It's a great country with incredibly entrepreneurial, freedom-loving people who are not going to have this in the long run. But he says it's going to take a while to fix. But he suggests in this final clip how the only way to do it is an awakening. What I have begged you to tell your friends and neighbors, that the fight is coming to your door, and the longer you ignore it, the worse it gets. Embrace it and take it on right now. That fight doesn't have to be big, bold steps. It can be small baby steps. Speaking out at your kid's school curriculum meeting, sending a letter to the teacher, voting, volunteering for some political organization that supports freedom. Send a few bucks their way if you can. It can be baby steps. But make no mistake, there has to be some step. Standing still is not going to work anymore. So he talks about an awakening here and how a slow reversion back to teaching patriotism, liberty, freedom, civics, values back in our school, we can change the next generation. And ironically, the teachers' unions are doing that for us now by refusing to indoctrinate our kids, by refusing to teach them as Americans are figuring it out how to teach at home and in pods by themselves. Ironic that the teachers' unions who use these principles to fester this internal division with us are now destroying their own plan. Check this out.
Two very simple, maybe two simplistic answers or solutions, but nevertheless, they are the only solutions. Educate yourself, understand what's going on around you. You are not living at the time of peace. You are in a state of war, and you have precious little time to save yourself. You don't have much time, especially if you are talking about young generation. There's not much time left for convulsions to the beautiful disco music. Very soon it will go, just overnight. If we are talking about capitalists or wealthy businessmen, I think they are selling the rope on which they will hang very soon.
I cut it there specifically for a reason. He warns that the capitalists, big business, are selling them the rope by which they'll hang them very soon. Big business is not our friends, folks. Freedom and liberty are. I will always support freedom and liberty and economic liberty. I will never support government confiscating money from anyone because they're the most destructive force in the country right now, big government. But big business isn't far behind right now. Google, Apple, Amazon, Coca-Cola, Delta, they don't give a damn about you. Freedom or liberty. Delta has no problem whatsoever taking flights to China, a communist country which imprisons Uyghurs and sterilizes their women. No problem at all doing that. Coca-Cola has no problem with international business in countries that do significant damage to minority populations. I don't see them putting out daily protests about that. But when it comes to a voter law in Georgia, which will lead to a more free and fair election, oh no, then all of a sudden they got to put out corporate statements. The capitalists will sell them the rope by which they'll hang them. But we can fix it. It all starts at home, with our education, our kids' school, and making sure they learn real American values. There's no complicated answer. It's a very simple answer. Once we break the indoctrination cycle and start teaching kids what really matters, reading, writing, arithmetic, civics, love of country, fairness, freedom, liberty for all, we can start to stop the tidal wave coming ashore. Now, you may say to yourself after listening to that, and I encourage you to listen to the whole thing. It's about 13 and a half minutes long. It's in my newsletter today, bongino.com/newsletter. Check it out. You may say, ideological subversion. Come on, Dan, this all seems quite dramatic. It's not happening here. Really, I discussed yesterday a story in the show at the end about how the Chinese Communist Party, which wishes to destroy America, found a very successful tactic, discovered it, that tactic being using American businesses to attack the country from within. And then I showed you another article yesterday showing you how liberals are doing the exact same thing, i.e. Coca-Cola, Delta, useful idiots.